Greetings, my dudes, of course, and my dudettes, if I have any females watching, which I probably don't. And yeah, welcome to the patch review for this Friday patch on the 30th of December, which is incredibly surprising. First of all, I wasn't expecting them to work between New Year and Christmas. I wasn't expecting, which results in me not expecting a patch. And then Eugen just doesn't patch on Fridays. I think the last Friday patch was last year, no, 2 years ago, 2 years ago even, with the was it with the DLC 3 beta? Anyways, they patched on Friday, and over the whole weekend, there was infantry running around with 40 HE rifles and or 55 HE rifles. There were two versions, which is completely broken. So that's why Eugen generally doesn't patch on Fridays. So I'm really surprised that they did that. So yeah, let's go through the changes. There were some small starting sector adjustments. I guess I can show that real quick. Um, on Battlefield 1 versus 1, and yeah, they enhanced this. They basically added this part of Delta because the plateau side usually had problems in the opener and on this zone here. Let me just see whether you can even see that. Yeah, you can barely see that. I guess I can. Sorry for that. So here, yeah, on this sector. Then we have on nuclear winter also an adjustment. I think they didn't fix the preview maps though, which is interesting. Yeah, they basically the zone was something like this, and they basically cut this triangle out because Hotel had a massive advantage in Delta because they were able to get into Delta pretty much at the same time or even a bit earlier than Echo was. So yeah, I really like this change. And then on Mudfight, Mudfight. And Nuclear Winter apparently is only a conquest version. Mudfight they also shortened this a bit if I remember correctly. Like roughly like this or something. I'm honestly not sure what I like this because yeah, you have the town here. I'm not even sure if this side has an advantage here. Maybe they get into the town earlier, not 100% certain. But the Bravo at least has the option to also push Foxtrot, whereas Echo can't really push Charlie. But yeah. Now let's actually go over the changes. We have fixing, sure. Yeah, there's just some fixes. Nobody cares. Battle rifle suppression reduced by 5%. It says 5%, but it's basically, I think, just by 5. Um, I guess it's a good thing, but I want to see Jäger at 10 points because maybe I'm starting to do that too early, but yeah, Yakari 90 or Yakari 90. They are better than Jäger. They have an arguably better law, arguably worse. They have a side grade, I would say, for Forest. It's definitely better. They have in tests they won versus Jäger and on the anti-infantry fights, both in towns and in forests. And now Jäger even a slightly bit worse or got nerfed in a very slightly. So please give 10-point Jäger backs, I would say. That's all I have to say about this. Stormer should still be good as they were before. Fuck, I can't talk. Should still be as good as they were before. Holy shit, what's wrong today? Carbines, I have honestly no idea. Well, I have an idea, but not gonna read it out loud. Basically, Carbines got nerfed and got basically standardized into two versions, and stuff like the L85 also have better stabilizers now. There's still some exceptions apparently, like the G11 and some oversights and all that. But basically, Carbines got or are supposed to be standardized into two, or carbines should be standardized and bullpups standardized, because before there were like all kinds of different versions. Um, then we have on intended availability bonus removed, Strela 10 accuracy on the move reduce and price decrease, which is interesting. Not sure whether I like that. T55s and T59s, CTC59s finally have 8 rounds per minute. This was so overdue. I really like this change. The Merida is probably a really good tank now. Though I still would like to see it with medium optics, even though it might just be unrealistic. D55 variants, accuracy increased, sure. I'm just gonna ignore the ones that I don't even care that much for. RM70, that's the Polish one, I think. Yeah, the RM70 is probably fairly decent now. Aim time got reduced, and the rate of fire increased. I think I haven't tested it yet, but it's probably has the same rate of fire as the Lars 2, which also got changed. And they're actually fairly decent now because not only do they have high rate of fire, but the time between the individual shots is so much lower. It's very, very similar to the Plummen. I think they're pretty useful now. Uh, I completely missed it earlier. T34s now fire heat rounds with increased range. That's very interesting. I wonder whether the rate of fire got nerfed. Did they always have 6? Um, yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna really mention the changes that are not that interesting. You can read for yourself. T62 is now 20 points. I don't even know. Maybe that's completely irrelevant. Maybe that's a new annoying spam tank. No idea. Um, T80UM got an armor buff for 5 points, which is pretty good, I would say. It's basically now like an M1 mod with an HGM for 5 points. Pretty good. Definitely worth it. I don't know how the fire pattern for the MSTA or the Mista is, so I can't really say whether that's good or bad. Tunguska and Tunguska M, definitely a big buff for them because the missiles now reload for after 1 second. The individual missiles. Base Tunguska could still use a slightly better missile, I would say. Bit more range or a bit more accuracy, maybe both. And then it might actually be quite a decent. Tunguska M got fixed. It used to be able to basically fire through forests at plane and at helicopters without any line of sight obstructions, which means no matter how deep at the forest it was, it would still always have full range on helicopters. That means you could have your longbow not being able to spot a Tunguska M, but a Tunguska M spotting or killing the longbow. But it can't spot through forests, and it doesn't work against ground targets. BDR 80 KBVT. Apparently, Eugen doesn't like the 10-point BTRs. I mean, BTR 80 should be 15 anyways, 2 armor and KBVT. But as you will, or not. 1 second. Okay, never mind. You will see later what I mean. BMVT price reduced. I don't like this change at all. I think this might be incredibly annoying in Forest, but maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. Maybe you saw the meme video of today. um, I honestly just used the BMPT change because it's the most fitting one. I just wanted to have a reason to use this Overwatch video that I found because I found it hilarious. Um, yeah. ASU price increased from 10 to 15. That's very interesting. ASU at 10 points was really strong, but obviously at 10 points, getting a 5-point price nerf is huge. I mean, it's 50% of the price. We saw it with what happened with Jäger. Nobody saw them basically anymore. Um, it's probably a dead unit now. Um, Not sure if it was necessary. Maybe it was. Um, Maybe we'll just see less fire support in general now, which may be a good, maybe a bad thing. It's probably not gonna be seen anymore, but maybe it's even a good thing. I can't say for sure. Um, what else do we have? Yeah, RM70 rocket switch with HE smoke. T62CZ got price reduced from 40 to 35. Honestly, I think that's a pretty huge buff. The T62CZ was actually before already a pretty good. Oh, I take that back. It doesn't have medium optics anymore. Because that was the amazing thing about it. It was a 40-point T62 with good AP, good armor, decent range, and medium optics. Which means it was perfect for like flanks against stuff like autocannon vehicles because they were just not able to shoot at them, and the T62 could easily deal with them. And thanks to medium optics, it could more or less spot on its own. So that's really, really nice. Um, so yeah, I'm not sure. I think I would have preferred it to be 40 points with the medium optics, but it was probably completely um unrealistic. So, but still, 35 points, it might be at least in armor decks, maybe really, really, really strong. Maybe it's not. Let's move on. China. The Ren now have the Type 61, Type 69 1. That's a really, really big buff. They're probably one of the best recon infantry in the game. Definitely best of Red 4, I would say. Um, but that's really the only notable China change. And while it's nice, it doesn't fix the problem they have, which is infantry, or one of the problems they still have, which is infantry. North Korea, the Hwasong-chong, got Iglas now. I fucked up. Sorry. Yeah, the Hwasong-chong has Iglas now. Where is it? Yeah, and got prototyped. 5-point price nerf. As you maybe saw in the video recently where I played mixed mech, I completely rolled over the opponent. I think it's definitely a nice change and gives Red Dragon another draw unit, as someone likes to say. Basically, a unit where you could say, "Hey, that's the reason to play Red Dragon. That's that prototype right there." You know, that's a really nice, flavorful unit that only Red Dragon has. But it's still not enough, I would say. And that's basically everything notable about Red Dragon. I'm sad that they didn't get more. I really expected more, especially considering Eugen said they had more planned for Red Dragon after the last patch. Finland, lots of fixes, of course. The Musti and the Krik are now available to more infantry. Before they were only available to these. Now they're to all the weapon squads, I guess you could say as well, which is nice. Same with the Krik, KRKK. Luckily, there's an R between the Ks. That as well. Anything else? All the T72 M1s now have medium optics. They're still shit, to be honest. They could be 70 and would be pretty good. At 65, they would be really good. Like you can compare it to the base T80. T80, incredibly strong tank. What do you get? You lose 1 round per minute for 1 armor. Okay, let's ignore the medium optics for now. You have a bit more autonomy, less speed, and a bit more accuracy instead. But for 10 points, it's not at all worth it. For 70, it might be worth it because you get the medium optics, but still, the T80 is just miles better. So I would really like to see at least a 5-point price buff for all the T72 M1s. That means the M1 Jaguar and the M1 CZ as well. Really, really, they would be really nice if they got that price buff. Other than that, yeah, all the Iglans got exchanged with base Iglas. The Crotal they have got a 5-point price buff and 5% accuracy buff. That's really good. Now it's probably worth it the price. Still fairly awkward buy, I would say, if you get this unit because it's good, yes, definitely, but for 85 points, it isn't that reliable on killing planes because of the lack of range. And yeah, that's why it's in 1 versus 1 probably not that great. Um, Other than that, I think not much. Oh, the MiG-29 now ripple fires. I haven't tested it yet. I wonder whether they basically now fire one after the other with directly without reloading. Probably. That's interesting. Gotta check that. Yugoslavia. Um, Carbines only one card now. Did the Igman? Was it the Igman? Yeah, this Igman now has medium optics, and with the 8 rounds per minute, that's an incredibly strong tank now. Probably needs a price nerf. Uh, probably. What do we have? The 105? Or maybe not. It's definitely a very, very strong tank, though. Definitely. What else do we have? M84AN no longer in motorized tech. I'm really, really sad about this. Untitled motorized. It wasn't really a strong deck. Let's be real. I played it a few times. Maybe you saw the videos. It was just a nice, fun deck with and you basically played around the 4 M84Ns. That's basically what your deck was built around. It wasn't OP at all, and since it was a prototype anyways, nobody cared that it wasn't motorized really. It, how do I put this? Like, I think literally every Recon unit is motorized except for the M84N. It's also very inconsistent. Even the Cobra, which I think was before the only non-motorized Recon unit, got added into motorized. So that's why I'm really sad about this. Again, motorized, it wasn't OP at all. It was a nice little fun deck, and now it's not fun anymore. I mean, yes, the T55s got buffed, but it was really fun using them, and I really liked the deck because it had flavor. It wasn't OP. I don't know. I really miss it. I hope they put it back in. Price nerf, of course, was needed. Plowman S got HE reduced. I wonder whether suppression got reduced as well. Let me check. I think it used to have the same suppression as the BM24. Seems to still have the same one. Because you don't really care about the HE, you really only care about the suppression. The Lars still has less suppression. I mean, it has lower caliber, but still. Um, anything else? Oh yeah, the Jackson is also 50 points now, but with increased autonomy. Again, seems like Eugen wants to go away from 10.5 support. Hellcat and the South Korean Hellcat and the South Korean M36, which still has the alt autonomy, basically being the exceptions. And the Sturmy, which is also 10 points now. I completely skipped that. Sturmy is 10 points and has more autonomy now. Sava price increased and stabilizer decreased. Okay, decent nerf. Oh, the never. Oh, that thing got a fucking buff. Oh my god. It's a huge buff. It's now very, very affordable. It has a bit less plane range and a bit less accuracy, but it's so much more affordable now and has better availability. That's a huge fucking buff, I tell you. And now I can see people crying about it because now it's really strong. Before, in my opinion, it wasn't a problem. Now it's a fucking Jesus Christ. The twin recoilless rifles got a suppression nerf and stabilizer removed. I still think it could be 15 points. Um, the Igla ones got changed to Iglas on the infantry squads, not on the Gamma 2 though. That should have base Iglas as well, I think, which basically means more accuracy. Super Garlab has got the veterans reduced and range reduced on the ATGM, though it could probably still get another slight nerf. And it's anything here. Delta Force! They finally have the card Gustav. How do I put this? Well, it's a nerf, really. Delta Force used to be basically bought for town fights, and they were fairly efficient for it because you only paid 25 points, and they had an SMG which is pretty strong in towns and on special forces. Now they have the Carl Gustav, which you don't really need in towns. So I guess they're more roundy now, but it's probably a nerf. Yeah. All Abrams have medium optics now. Cobra now in motorized. Law 80 accuracy reduced, which is interesting. Tornado now is better veterancy. Tornado F3, so it might be worth taking now. No, I would still take the Tornado F2 because yeah, that's not really worth it in my opinion. 20 points for 10% more accuracy and a bit more range and more shot. No, that's not worth it. Super Attendant. Gun removed. Oh, that's why they removed the gun, which is sad. Sadly, gun removed, but has 2 missiles now. So Eurocore has a very strong IDG gameplay now. I tested and played around with it a bit. It could, in my opinion, get another. It could get a price buff to 110 points maybe because it's slow and they're both semi-active. But it's, in my opinion, definitely very, very usable and fairly strong plane. Then we have Mara 2, pricing availability and cards increased. Sadly, still not available to Deckungsgruppe. I wish they were available to Deckungsgruppe. But oh well, because literally every other IFV, as far as I know, is available to Fist Squads. The South Koreans, well, you will see that later. Lars 2 now also can fire smoke and has increased rate of fire and only fires half the salvo. I tested it earlier today. It's you will see it tomorrow in the video, also in game. It's usable. Similar to the Plumber, not quite as strong, but also more affordable. It's definitely nice. Modern VTS1 has autoloader and range increased. Yeah, nice, but eh. IDS price decreased and aim9's reduced from 4 to 2, not 3. Definitely, I would say it's not great, but it's definitely usable now. Cheap, fairly survivable. Yeah, it's useful. Finally. So really, Eurocore is getting there. I let me think. I think I only want to see 2 changes now for Eurocore specifically. And that is Jäger at 10 points, which is most important, and the other one, Leopard 2 medium optics. And then I think Eurocore is really, really good now, again, without being broken. That's really all I want to see now for Eurocore. Chimera. That thing got a huge S buff. 10 points less, and the rate of fire increased to 7. Now, if you compare that to the Challenger 1 Mark 1, for 5 points you get 1 more front armor and 2 more AP. You lose the turret, and you lose the stabilizer. But you are in the vehicle tab, which is generally cheaper. And you have more, yeah, but you're in the vehicle tab. That's all. And you also have less optics, or worse optics. I think defensively the Chimera will be really amazing. It still doesn't really fill the same spot as a Challenger 1 though, because offensively the Chimera is gonna be really bad, because when you attack move and especially in forest and the enemy is reversing, then once you got line of sight you stop, but very often while the enemy is retreating you can lose line of sight. And then you are moving again without even shooting. So that's why I think the Chimera won't fill the same spot. It's strong and it's probably gonna be really nice in a mech deck, Commonwealth or NORAD mech, and it maybe you would play it in NORAD though, because you only have the M1A1, which doesn't have the same armor as the Challenger, and the HA. I think you could maybe use it in the NORAD deck fairly well. Commonwealth probably not, but it's definitely a nice buff. Sweden. Nothing special here. Noah got more HP now again, which is nice. All the ridiculous rifles vehicles, M113's got down to 10 points. Interesting. Probably still not that great, but eh. Anzac again got some nice whatever buffs. Oh, where is it? This thing here. Got now 2 MGs. I mean, sure. Japan, nothing special. South Korea, nothing special as well. Here, Yikchahwagiban Jigsaw Wargame can now deploy in KFV as other nations fist team deploying in IFV. Yes, basically they get the IFV because every other fist team also get every IFV. Let's see. Let's see it, for example, in Norway. They get the NM113, They get the CV90. Wow. What about West Germany? Well, they get the Marder 1 series. But what about the Marder 2? Give Marder 2 for Deckungsgruppe, please. Um, Netherlands, nothing special here. Israel has some interesting changes. I don't know why they reduced that to 95 points. I think it was very fine at 100. I mean, at 100, you basically paid 5 points to trade 3 rounds per minute for 2 armor. And then you got more sight and top armor for worse speed. So I don't know why the price buffed that piece of shit. Sorry. Um, Maglans are now 5 men and have less missiles. Yes! I'm really happy about it. I'm people are probably gonna say, oh, it's Razzmann because of his propaganda videos. I don't give a fuck. If you watch the tournament match of Stauffenberg versus Mr. Ghosty on Mudfight, then you know what Maglans can do. Merkava Transport got another 5-point nerf. Nice, sure. Oh yeah, the Hafits and the Peri can now fire on the move with slightly less accuracy. The missile is not effective by unit stress level while in fight or in flight. So basically, if you panic it somehow while it's firing, then it's still gonna hit. I guess it's somewhat to simulate fire and forget without giving them actual fire and forget. So it's nice. I don't think it's a huge game changer. Maybe it is. Unlike Pettyfield, that can possibly really be strong because that is one of the few maps where you can actually use the range to your advantage. But I still don't think it's that big of a deal. And that's pretty much all the changes. Yeah, I kind of was a bit confused or during the whole video here. I'm sorry for that. That was kind of weirdy. Yeah, whatever. I think you get what I mean. Like, I don't know what's wrong today. Maybe I'm not feeling that well. Whatever. I still hope you somehow enjoyed that shitty ass video. I got asked to do that video, so I did it. And yeah, tomorrow you will see a Eurocore video because I think Eurocore is really nice now. And I'll see you then.